Alright, so I'll be taking you through the process of signing up on the OpenAI, like creating an account with OpenAI, and then before you can access the ChatGPT, alright, to begin to carry out some, to write some queries or putting down some prompts. Now, first of all, we have the general website for OpenAI, so you can either access it from Google, and then once you are done here, you can head over to try ChatGPT. So you'll be taken to the ChatGPT website where you would have to first of all create an account before you log in. Right. So why this is displaying to you is because I already have my account created here at ChatGPT. That's why you can access this conversation log, right? So there's what is called a conversation log, which contains all the conversations that you've carried out here at ChatGPT. And then, but let me log out so you could see the initial interface. So you have to come to this interface authenticating you as a user. So either log into the platform or to sign up the platform. So you can click on the login here to have access to the login field or the sign up. So if you're a new user on ChatGPT, you first have to click on the sign up button here to create an account. So you have to input your email address and click on continue, alright, and then you further create a password. But in my case, alright, I already have my details, so I'll just tap here to, I say your password must contain at least 8 characters. If I click on continue, I'm trying to create an account with this email. Alright, so I believe it's going to give us error because this email is already registered at the website. So it says the user already exists. So in your case, you have to input your email address, then create a password, and then continue to create an account. So I'll head over to sign into my account here. Alright, sign into my account. And once you have signed in, you will have access to this interface showing you ChatGPT. And here is where you can ask questions. Alright, for example, in our data analysis course, you'll be coming across some questions which you would likely want to answer. So I'll be sending to you guys the different prompts to use when using ChatGPT to increase productivity. Alright, and then let's take for example let's ask ChatGPT, please write a SQL query for fetching all data from a database with the database name. Let's just give a database name to be my DB, and column, you can further specify the column names, right? So let's say the column names are first name, all right, last name, okay, age, and then sex. So it says here is the SQL query to fetch all data from database named MySQL, that's MyDB, with column names of first name, last name, age, and sex. So if you have this database already, okay, if you have the database name MyDB with this column name, so once you copy this code here, this query, and then paste it in any of the programs you are using, and then you run the query, it's going to do what? It's going to fetch all the data from the database containing the whole columns, right? So what the ChatGPT did for us was to give us the SQL query here, and then this is another way of doing it. Instead of listing out the column names explicitly, ChatGPT is also telling us that it is possible for us to use this asterisk sign here to fetch all the columns. So however, it's generally considered better practice to list out the specific columns you want to retrieve rather than using the wildcard character. So this is a wildcard character, especially in larger databases where performance can be impacted. Right. So what ChatGPT does is that it gives us a recommended practice, a better practice for us to achieve this same result. So instead of us to use this wildcard, ChatGPT, an intelligent software, will also tell us it is better we list it out this way. Alright, so you get over to copy this code, you can create a database, name this, populate it with some data here, first name, age and sex, and then if you run this query, you are going to get all the data, the information containing in that database presented to you, right, as your query output. Okay, so I'll be in my next lesson, I'll compile some list of questions, right? So we'll be looking at some typical databases where I'll be downloading from an open source called Cargo, and then I'll be sending the CSV file as a resource to the lesson, and then we are going to be using ChatGPT to generate some questions from the CSV file. Okay, so this is where your creative ability would have to come in, where you possibly check what am I to get from this data. All right, because in the real life practice you'll be presented with data and then you may be asked to generate some insight from the data. So we are going to see a typical example of it where I'll send you the CSV file, and then we can tell ChatGPT to generate for us possible 20 questions from a data set, and then from there we can as well tell ChatGPT to write for us the queries that we need to answer some business related questions right from the data set. So I thank you so much for joining me once again, and I hope you enjoyed the lesson.